I'm mixing white flour, whole wheat flour, a bit of baking powder, salt and sugar in a bowl. I found this recipe in a random magazine and I'm using it as like a base and making it my own. Mixed it up, putting it aside. Now I'm going to prepare the filling. I want to fry up a tiny onion. I'm adding a little bit of olive oil to a small pan. So while that's frying up, I'm going to chop up some black olives. I like to use chopsticks to take out the olives so that I can save the brine. So I'm just going to chop them roughly. Recently I had a job interview. At the beginning of the week I was pretty excited about it. It was my second interview with the organization and it sounded really great. I really enjoyed the first one, so I was looking forward to the second one. And when I was in the flow of the interview, I felt quite comfortable. Then I was reflecting, even during the conversation, I was kind of like, okay, this seems like a lot of work, which is fine. There was something that felt a bit off about it. There wasn't much structure to the organization. It was going to be all hands on deck. It felt like the conversation didn't really align to what my expectations were based on my first interview and the job description. So I was kind of sitting there trying to be engaged, but in my head I was a little bit, I don't know, I was feeling already put off by working there. That was been on my mind, and I was thinking, what will it take for me to be fully committed to a job where I'm not sure if I'm fully committed to it mentally? Because I've been in a position where I didn't really align with the values of the organization and I was kind of pretending, and it was not a good situation for me mentally. Let's see how it goes. I don't really have an answer to any of those questions. I think doing a job interview and preparing for it emotionally is quite exhausting. I'm grating some cheese. This is what I had at home, gouda or gouda. I'm never sure how to pronounce this because I always thought it was gouda, but here it's pronounced gouda, so any kind of salty cheese I think would work here. One thing I do enjoy about baking, I feel it doesn't have to be so precise. I know people say, oh, baking has to be precise, but I don't know. I've kind of altered many recipes and they still turn out fine. So that's what home cooking is all about. Adapting recipes you find inspiring and making it your own with whatever you have. I'll just turn the onions off. I didn't really brown the onions. I just cooked them until they're translucent, which should be fine. I have cold butter that I've cubed and I'm going to add it into the flour mixture. Actually, I'm going to put it in a bigger bowl because that doesn't make sense. I think that's too small. Combining that. I'm going to integrate the butter into the flour mixture just using my fingers. So the butter is now integrated into the flour mixture. I'm just going to dump the cheese. I think that's too much cheese. I'll save that for an omelet or something. Mix it in. I'm measuring yogurt, egg. Combine it. I'm going to add it here. Ah, I almost forgot the onions. We'll carefully mix it in. Okay, it looks a little dry at first, but it does come together quite quickly. I'm going to try to shape it a little bit. Use a rolling pin. Roll it out. Cut them into 4 slices and then into thirds, I guess. And I'm transferring it over to the baking sheet with parchment paper. And I've preheated the oven to 200 degrees Celsius. So I baked these for about 15 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. I wanted to brown them further, so I turned up the heat to 250 and then baked them for an additional 2 minutes so that they have a nice golden color on top. I've let these cool down so they're just room temperature. They're flaky on the outside, nice and soft on the inside. The addition of the cheese, onions, and olives adds a nice flavor. I'll be making this again and also trying out different ingredients.